Hey everyone, Coach Patrick here from Endurance Nation, back with another live weekly session with me. And this is a 15-minute opportunity to get some insight from things that are going on inside the team, from our history, from our experience. Also to ask some questions if you have them by using the Facebook comments on the side. I do this every week. Part of our mission here inside Endurance Nation is to pay it forward, to share out some of our knowledge. We believe that smarter athletes are faster athletes. So we have many events like this that are both public and internal to the team, mechanisms through which we consolidate and share information to move the entire group forward, right? So we raise the bar for everybody. Rising tide lifts all boats, and we eliminate a lot of the simple and sort of organizational challenges that really shouldn't be part of the equation. If you want to become a better runner, let's work on the fitness and let's eliminate all the problems associated with being a better runner, like shoe selection or what data to track, right? Or how to structure your week. We take all of those things off the table through our experience, and we do it here. So with that said, I want to talk today about faster triathlon transitions. I did a presentation inside the team last week, and I really felt as though it would be important for me to share out with you some of the tips that we had. Predominantly because many of us have taken the past year off from racing, coming back to triathlon, we're a little rusty. And the best place to find time is in transition. So I'll give you an example of that. 2019, Ironman Arizona, the last Ironman that I did, I set a personal best. And I won my age group, and it was all simply because I mastered the transitions. Of course, yes, I swam, biked, and ran fast enough to earn the right to be there. But the difference between me and an incredible athlete in second place was about 43 seconds. And you could definitely look at our transition times where I made up massive time. And so in transitions, the way that I handled it was I needed to be as fast as possible. So the Ironman Arizona transition at the time was basically about a half-mile run from the swim exit to the swim to the bike entrance. You basically had to run the whole length of the outside of the transition perimeter, come inside transition, and then go back with your stuff to the tent, get your bike, and then go out. So really big. And I decided that I would make up for my swim performance by crushing the run from a swim exit to transition entrance. Apparently not everyone got the memo because there were a lot of people who were just walking. I'm not the fastest swimmer. And the space for us to run on was super narrow. It was about 3 feet wide. And there were people all along it on either side trying to take pictures of their friends and family. So it got a little crazy in there. I was trying to be a 185-pound guy running, at sub 6-minute pace to transition. But it definitely paid off. And so you too can reap the benefits of having great transitions. In fact, regardless of your ability level as an athlete or as a triathlete, we can all be better at transitions. I look at transitions sort of as, for example, if you're food shopping or you're picking up your kids, transitions is where you are right now at home. And then how do we get to the place to do what you want to do, right? And the transition is the time from you to leave your house to get in the car to go. And so the smoother you can be at that, so you want to have the keys in the right place, your wallet's in the right place, you know what you need inside the car for the event, that's all together. You can just get in the car and go, right? And if we mess something up, if we put the keys somewhere else, can't find our wallet, don't have the clothes you need for the activity that your child is doing, then you could be in a little bit of trouble. So here we go. Step number one, when we think about faster transitions, is reducing all the moving parts of your transition. Okay, so you can do this without even knowing where you're going to be, but you do know what it is that you need as you go from the water to the bike. So we say, okay, on the bike, what's my list of things that I have? I've got my helmet, I've got my sunglasses, I may have like a belt with like food or whatever else it is that I need, salt pills, all the extra things that I have. Maybe you want to put socks on, maybe you don't. Figure out all the things that you need to be on the bike perfect. Start with the perfect you on the bike, rolling out of transition, totally confident. What does that you have on with you that you need to get out of transition? And then we're going to reduce those steps, okay? So for example, if you can leave your shoes on your bike, great. That's one less thing you have to worry about while you're in transition. Putting your shoes inside your transition bag is a pain in the butt, simply because they barely ever fit and they take up a ton of space, which really sort of ruins the whole mojo. So if you can leave them on your bike and you're comfortable putting your shoes on while you're soft pedaling down the road out of transition, awesome. Okay, so we could definitely do that. So in most races, they'll let you do it. Definitely at Kona, they let you do it. So check on that. If you can't, then the shoes go in your bag, but they go on the very, very bottom, which comes to the second part, which is as we're eliminating and keeping stuff, the things that you need last, they go in order, right? So the last thing you need is at the bottom of your bag. which is your shoes. Okay. Now, most races will let you leave like your helmet or your sunglasses also on top of your bike. If they will not let you do that, then your helmet and sunglasses need to go inside your transition bag as well. I leave my helmet on top. It's the first thing that I get out of my bag and put on top of my head. The only difference will be if I have a belt. I usually wear a belt with my food inside of it, like an elastic belt that I keep my gels and bars in. And so that's inside my helmet. So I reach inside my bag, take the belt out. I can put that in my mouth. I put the helmet on my head, and then I get my shoes, and I'm pretty good to go, right? The sunglasses, I'll take a rubber band and put that around my aero bars and tuck the arm of the sunglasses underneath that rubber band so it's not going anywhere, so I can run out of transition. My bike computer is on my bike, right? The socks, I don't wear socks on the bike because, well, I often pee on myself when I'm racing, right? What else is there that you possibly have? Extra food, things that you need. You can, if you want, take each individual thing out of the transition bag and be like, oh, here's my salt pills in this pocket, and here's my gels, I'll put those in this pocket, and then here's, like a spare tube or tire kit, I don't know what you have, I'm going to put that in this pocket. You can do all of that while you're standing still, but remember, the clock is ticking. If you do have some of these smaller pieces, then take advantage of the Endurance Nation Go Bag strategy, and I'll show you that right here. The Go Bag strategy, ignore the contents of this bag right now. But the Go Bag strategy is to take a decent sized Ziploc bag, just like this one, and put the stuff in it that you need to put in your pockets before you get on the bike. You just walk down the transition with that. So once you get your stuff all set, you walk down transition with that bag open, brisk walking, and you're taking the stuff out of the bag and putting it in your pockets as you're moving. That'll save you at least a minute in transition because you're not standing still doing those things, okay? Last but not least, in T1, when we're thinking about saving time, do not waste time trying to put your wetsuit or your swim skin back into your transition bag. That is a losing proposition. It's terrible. It's like trying to take spaghetti and put it like up through the holes of the colander back into the colander instead of just putting it in on top. It's just hard to put it in there. It's awkward. So make sure your wetsuit or swim skin is labeled with your name and phone number, and then take the transition bag. And when you're good to go, I have my Go Bag in one hand and I've got my swim skin in my transition bag in the other. And I find a volunteer who's standing there and I say, thank you so much for helping me. I don't ask them if they can help me. I just say, thank you for helping me. And I give them my stuff. They'll put my stuff, my goggles, whatever else I have inside that bag with the that I need, and they'll hang it up for me later. I don't have to deal with it, right? So if you do it right, you're really moving through that transition area in about 90 seconds if you can do it right. So other tips that I have for T1 is that you want to definitely go to the back of the changing area. So don't go right at the entrance because that's where everybody's coming in. So I go straight to the back of the transition area, like close to the exit. And that's where I go over there and I sort myself out because everybody finds the first seat. I'm going to take that last seat over there. So I have plenty of space to spread out and do what I need to do. I don't need to sit down to do my transition. So I use the bag as a table, the chair as a table for my bag on top of it. And again, if I need to have my helmet and shoes with me, the order is helmet upside down. Inside the helmet is things that I need to get out later on. So my Go Bag may be in there in the mouth, helmet on the head, buckle up the helmet. I reach in, get my two shoes out, shoe on, right? All right. So I'm going to run with my shoes on. I rarely ever do I opt to carry my shoes and then run, because when you have your bike and then you have your shoes, you can't put your shoes on when you have your bike in your hand. Then you got to find a place to put your bike, and then you got to put your shoes on. That's just another extra step in there, which doesn't save you time. So I'll put my shoes on, and then I take my Go Bag with me in one hand. I got my swimsuit or my wetsuit or whatever, and the other bag, and I just pop that right into the volunteer's arms and say, see you later, and I'm out the back. And then as I'm going, I'm doing the Go Bag stuff in, and maybe I'm even eating something, whatever it is, and I'm out. Okay. Very straightforward, very simple. So it's very helpful, again, to remember that as you're executing a clean transition like in T1, which has a lot of logistics because the bike has extra stuff, we are looking at all the things that we need when we are perfect on the bike. We're listing all of those on paper. We're eliminating the ones that can go on the bike that we can get as we go. We're identifying the ones with a circle, the ones that we want to put inside a Go Bag that we can do as we're walking from tent to bike. And then the rest of those things need to go in the bag, and we're just going to set the order for those things so we're unwrapping it in the right order. If you have your shoes on top, but you don't need your shoes first, well, then you got to put those over there, and then you've got to go over there to get them later. All of that costs you time, right? Now, another way you can speed up that first transition, of course, is on the day before when you do drop off your stuff, is to do a walkthrough. Now, I do my walkthrough with my phone, and I'll go through and I'll take pictures of everything, and I'll make sure I know how to get from the water to my bag. I'll take pictures of all the landmarks, and I'm literally typing notes on my phone, like I'm walking, to the third lamp post and turning left, and I'm the fifth bike. on my right-hand side, and I'll take pictures of it all so I know it, so that in the morning when I'm running from tent to bike or from, swim exit to my bag, I know exactly where it is. They have like say 5 or 6 different rows of bags on the ground. I need to know which row my bag is in and roughly where it's at. If I know it's next to the pine tree, then no matter what row I'm in, I know around the pine tree is where I have to sort of activate myself. So I may run down the first row and hop over 2 bags. I don't have to go over to the third row and run up if it's tiny like that. But we want to know because we want to get it right and eliminate those steps. Also, just a well-executed transition just gives you lots of mojo and feeling pretty solid about it, right? Okay, good. So T2 has far less moving pieces. However, it's more complex because you bring the adrenaline and the fatigue, the lack of mobility if you've been on a 112-mile bike ride into the transition area, right? So you're super excited about just giving your bicycle away to someone you've never met before, which is great. Hey, it's only $8,000, please. I never want to see it again. Now you have to go to transition and you have to figure out what you're going to do, right? So some people, again, transition starts even outside the space. So you have to decide, are you going to keep your bike shoes on across concrete to get to transition, or are you able to undo and sort of put your feet on top and then do a dismount with your shoes? But know what you're comfortable with, practice what you want to do so you're good to go, whatever it is, either way. And you have to follow the order around to, again, get your transition bag and head into transition. So this time it's a little different because we can't leave our run shoes anywhere and we have all this other stuff. So this, once again, is where that go bag becomes handy. So my go bag is in the bottom of my bag because it's the last thing that I need. So go bag that I've all organized and put together my Ziploc, that's at the bottom. On top of that, I have my shoes, my right shoe, my left shoe. They have my orthotics inside of my shoes. And then I've got a sock in each shoe that's already rolled down. And there's probably some lube inside of there, depending how my toes have been behaving over time. Put a little chamois lube in there or something like that, or spray it with Tri-Slide. And so when I get to transition, this time I sit down. So I find that chair at the back of the tent, turn around, park myself, open up the bag, and it's, open it up and I've got sock on the right foot, shoe on the right foot, sock on the left foot, shoe on the left foot. That's all that I'm putting on in transition. That's just it. Sock, sock, shoe, shoe, and I'm done. I stand up and I tie my shoes. I've learned over time that tying my shoes when I'm sitting down, my very large feet are smaller when I'm sitting down. And when I stand up, they get bigger. And then my shoe then therefore is a different size when I'm running, which I don't like. So I stand up to tighten both shoes and then I'm out, right? So if I have a helmet in my hand and bike shoes, etc., once again, I give that to the volunteer. Or if there's a volunteer nearby me, I'll just say, hey, all this goes in this bag, please. Thank you so much. Again, not asking permission. They're there to volunteer. If you say, hey, do you want to help me? They'll say, sure, I'll help you. And you'll say, well, that's so great. And they'll be like, of course, I came here from Milwaukee. And you'll be like, obligated to be like, I love Milwaukee, I think. And they'll be like, yeah, it was such a long drive, and you'll be like, great. And all of a sudden there's dialogue where you're like, how about I meet you, Milwaukee man, after the race and we can talk about it. So speed up that transition by taking charge, being clear and being focused, and people will help you out as you go. Honestly, there's times when if you're sitting inside the tent, people are also available to help you out. I'm generally a little bit faster off the bike, so there's only a couple people inside the tent, but often I can say, can I have a cup of ice water or can I get some? People will get you stuff as well. So anyway, so go through, get my bag, and then I exit with my go bag. Now, this time the go bag has lots of stuff inside there because I need lots of stuff for the run, but I don't want to put it on inside the tent. Simultaneously, there's lots of people outside the tent and you're not moving very fast. So if you're on the bike, you kind of roll away. But when you're moving outside of the tent with your go bag, everybody's like, run. And you're like, I'm not ready to run. I'm using my go bag right now. So inside the go bag, I have all the things that I need. Inside my go bag for the T2 area, I have my trucker hat because can't race without a trucker hat. So that's an easy one. I also have sunglasses, either a separate pair or I may have kept them on from the bike. I found that running with sunglasses and a hat is awesome. Like I didn't realize how much I was squinting all the time on race day, which drove me nuts. It took me only like 20 Ironman races to figure that one out. So I run with those two pieces. Then I have my race belt. Inside my race belt, on my race belt, I've obviously got my number attached. I've got to get that on. I usually pull that around the back. They yell at me, but I'll turn it around the front if they need to. So I've got my race belt going. On that race belt, I have pockets for gels, etc. That's already done. So the unclipped race belt is inside the go bag. I take it out with one hand, put the go bag in my mouth and I can reach around, put the belt on, I'm good. And then if I have anything else like extra salt pills or whatever, I'm starting to kind of pick up the pace now because I've got my hat on and I've got the heavy belt on, which is sort of the weight limiter. And now I'm able to start moving down and I can put the little things inside my pockets. Like, did I run out of salt? Do I need salt? Is there something else I need? I've got a gel right here. I don't have gels on my belt, but I've got an extra one right here. Do I need it? All those extra pieces in the puzzle. I've probably got a contacts in there in case I lost a contact or something on the bike. I get to decide, do I want to do it or do I not want to do it? And then I'm done. I just carry that bag with me to that first transition area and I'm good. Sometimes I'll use that bag to hold ice unless I have a Race Saver bag that I'm wearing on my wrist. You can get those at mile18inc.com or Google Race Saver bag and learn more about what that is. But either way, I'm done and now I'm moving. And so I've taken roughly 3 to 4 minutes of time that I would have spent sitting in transition, buckling stuff up, making sure I had everything, double checking this very large, oversized, non-transparent bag, trying to make sure I have everything. Is there anything in the bottom before I leave? I don't want to leave it. Since I have it all organized in the go bag, which is transparent, it's my Ziploc bag, and I have it in my hands, I really can't leave stuff behind. If I've left something behind, it's not even in transition. It's in my condo, which is just a disaster of another order, not to be solved in today's conversation. And so what that go bag piece allows you to do, again, is to start moving more quickly and to save countless time without really rushing. And that's the key part. So when we see people want to speed up transition, they typically just say, I'm going to do all the things that I normally do, just faster. And that's not really great, right? Like that doesn't work so well. It's like, hey, I'm going to food shop, but this time I'm going to food shop way faster. And that's where you start to skip things or you drop things start to go wrong. And in our world, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And so we really want to go through that exercise inside transition as well, where you can reap the greatest rewards for minimal heartbeats. And you can be a professional transition athlete regardless of your time. In fact, we often compare transition times of athletes inside the space just to see how they're doing. Who had the fastest T1 on the team or the fastest T2 or the biggest gains? Because that's free speed just waiting for you if you want to take it. All right, awesome. Hey, everyone, I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this brief overview of how we speed up transitions inside the team. I hope you found it helpful. If you've got questions for us, you can always hit us up here on Facebook, send us a message, or leave a comment on one of these videos or any one of our posts, or visit us online at endurancenation.us. There's a little red chat icon in the bottom corner of the screen. You can go right ahead there and click on it and leave us a message or answer our questions, or even create a membership. It's 30-day money-back guarantee. Happy to help you out whether you're training for a fall adventure, you're targeting something big in 2022, or there's secret plans you have for events that we've never heard of. We're excited to help you tackle that challenge. With over 450 people inside the team across the last 14 plus years, we've seen lots of people do lots of amazing things. We have great resources in the team and experience, and we're happy to share them with you and have you be a part of the family. Thanks, everyone. Take care and enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you guys.